Hard to tell, actually. We don't have the overhead lights on.
It's because I wanted the nice. Oh, that makes more sense. Oh my gosh! Hey everybody!
Hello.
Welcome to Spirit Walk, the place where we're going to talk about all of the cool, fun, and exciting things that you might encounter on a spiritual journey.
Through our own experiences and our own perceptions.
Because we're just having a grand old time over here.
We are. We do. We got our tea.
If you don't have one, get one. That's all I got for you. Welcome. I hope you all made it through the holiday season. And the holiday season's not over. I hope you all made it through the full moon, Halloween, because I know we did up in here.
I did. I made it.
I made it by the skin of my teeth.
It got really intense on Friday.
Dude,
Friday, we did our thing on Friday.
Yes, thank you to everybody who came out to our ceremony on Friday.
You.
We love you all. It was wonderful. It was a pleasure having you. If you are just joining us, please share us with all of your friends. Let us know that you can see us and hear us. We're trying a different mic system today because we're seeing how this one works. Because the other one was crackly because it's space. It's a great mic, but we're going to try something a little different. So hopefully it works out. So if you can see us, please say something. If you're just jumping on here, say hey. Oh, is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
Anybody else dealing with dry skin this Halloween?
Psoriasis over here. A light case of psoriasis. Thank goodness. I cannot imagine having a strong case of psoriasis. But yeah, if I don't take care of it, I have really bad breakouts. And I try not to do that. And I've been very well, you know that. Right. I don't go anywhere. I start crying if I don't have my moisturizer.
We were just talking about moisturizer this morning. I was like, my skin on my face. But your hair looks amazing. Doesn't your hair look amazing today? I told her it looked fresh. And I'm like, I don't think I've used that word fresh associated with talking about hair before. And I was like, but it does. It looks fresh.
Thank you. Thank you. It's all like, you really can't see it in here, but I'll get a little
there we go.
Fresh look.
But I'm just happy. I'm happy that full moon came and went because I felt like it came in rolling with a ton of energy.
Tons of energy.
And then I felt it all whoosh out when it went.
Yeah, it was
definitely took stuff with it. And that just made my whole
heart definitely happy. Took a lot of stuff for me with it. And I got to have some eye-opening experiences throughout the weekend, which was great. I got to take that back, and I got to take a piece of myself back, which was fantastic. Because I really feel like this last moon, even though a lot of moons hold a lot of ability for transformation, which is what we're going to talk about. Sorry for being really loud. But this last moon in particular, being the blue moon, was very transformational. I felt like it had an undertone of a very strong line of transformation abilities. So hopefully you took the opportunity to harness some of that and utilize it into yourself.
It was a thing.
It was definitely a thing. I felt it come on way earlier this year. I mean, this full moon, days before. Usually I can feel it a few days before we start getting to the peak of the full moon. I think we were like 4 or 5 days before the peak of the moon. We could start seeing and feeling the shift of the energy on the planet.
Kids were going crazy. Like the whole week of that.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, what is going on, man? It's insane.
And then it and it took a longer time for it to really dispel. Actually, I feel like it took longer to dispel everything than it did to start feeling it coming on.
It definitely took I still feel like some of it's dissipating.
Yeah, I do too.
Like some of our what we focused on, especially for this full moon with our transformation, some of the things that we did with our transformation process, like I could feel all of that energy go out, and I still feel the tendrils are still going out with it.
Yeah,
almost like a wave that's not quite
over the settled
yeah.
in yet. Oh, and like to clarify that for you, the clarification of what's leaving is still dispensing itself out. Like all of those, like I personally was working on transformation of self during this last full moon, and some personality traits and different things that I keep on trying to hold on to. And I was able to really see things from a perception that I knew was there, but I never fully got to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I felt like I could just start shifting and pushing things around. And then by the time Sunday came, I'm like, oh, yep, it's time to let go of this. It's time to let go of that. It's time to let go of that, because of things that I didn't need anymore that were just holding me personally back.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for when this wave finally finishes settling into the ocean, if I can use that description, because Perfect. I know it's also moves us into, like, because we meditate every day inside of the bubble of our country, where we like tap into the planetary grid and what's going on with the planet, especially when we're doing, over on our Facebook page, we're doing the tarot draws. And every time we tap into that, I feel like the full moon has really affected just, I can feel it everywhere in there. And as this goes out, I feel a new wave of energy coming up from the planet, from our continent, from our consciousness, and we're coming into another new phase that's going to last for like another 4, 5, 6 weeks. And I'm excited to like be in that one, because I feel like it's going to be overall arcing positive energy. I think we're going to have a huge mental and emotional shift more to the positive. I think people's outlooks are changing right now. It's a whole thing,
especially because of if you do a lot of reading about it or not, but especially for the season that we're going into, which is into where you get more into the emotional body, you get more within yourself, and that's a time to really start healing the emotional body. Is during this time where we feel more introverted, naturally. Even if you're extroverted, I love people, I love to talk, but during the winter times, I'm much more introverted. I don't know if it's because we live in the winter state, but no, it's not all that, because I've lived down south during the winter time quite a few times, and I still feel that way. I'm like, you know, and I just find myself deeper in thought, deeper in the flow, deeper in the ocean of who I am and what makes me me, and where all of that's coming from. And I do a lot more insightful thinking, which you got to be careful about, because it can also lead to depression.
That lovely seasonal depression people talk about, it can lead to that for sure.
So
and I loved the energy. So like my perception of part of the full moon energy and part of the Halloween energy that was coming up, I love that feeling of the world, like the plants and the trees and everything moving into hibernation, because they're so bright and vibrant and alive. And then one day you get up and you step outside and the hum has dropped to like a lower bass, and everything in nature feels stiller right before deep fall going into wintertime. And I love that feeling. And I felt that feeling over the weekend with the full moon on like Saturday or Sunday, when I was here at the office and I was outside, and I was just like, oh, like the drum bass like hit, and it just gave me all good.
Well, the trees are starting to fall asleep, going within themselves, and
I love it. Which is part of the reason I miss living in the north, because as much as the snow sucks sometimes, like especially if you got to drive in it, I love that stillness feeling. It feels like the earth is resetting.
It's good for a nice vacation. That's where I'm at in my life with winter.
Want to go to the beach.
I'm definitely more of a southern person, mostly because of the sun. I do love the mountains and stuff, but there's a lot of places you can go. Like you lived in Nashville, there's not a lot of snow there. I can handle that. I like that. And lots of mountains and views, and you still get the drop of everything kind of falling asleep.
It's true.
You still get that down south though. It's just not.
It's not the same.
It's not the same, but it's still definitely a lower vibration. It's still a drastic change, because there's a lot of things that aren't in bloom.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like so they're dormant. A lot of the plants are dormant, even though they look green. They're actually dormant at that time, and their vibration is more of like, it's like a nice classical smooth jazz. Okay, and I can live in that.
The energy of North Carolina, the first few years that we lived there, when the fall time would hit, I kept expecting it to drop all the way like it would for winter time up here. And it was so weird, because everything turns brown in North Carolina. You have the big vibrant colors, and then everything turns brown. All the leaves drop, and it just is in this weird, I felt like it was limbo for like 6 months.
Like a twilight zone.
Yeah, for like 6 straight months. And I was like, are we trying to decide if it's going to snow and everything's going to go to sleep, or is this where we're going to exist here? And it was every year. And then every once in a while it would get down to freezing. But the ground as a whole never dropped to the same
Mm-mm.
frequency. So I felt like it was weird for me because I was like, it's in limbo. I'm like, is it in limbo? So I know what you mean with like everything feeling different. Totally
Mhm.
still all felt different. And to me, I always associated it with a transitional period. So I was waiting for the drop that never happened. Not that it was
Poor
bad,
Amanda.
because I still could go swimming in November.
Right, exactly. You still could walk in the woods
The-
and not freeze.
The water temperature had not yet dropped.
Right, right. And it's not freezing. You're not like bundling yourself up so you look like the marshmallow man just so you can handle being
Mhm.
outside. Because that's me in the wintertime.
Mhm.
Like, I'm trying this year. I'm trying this year. I'm going to start doing more active stuff, especially since I moved to Grand Rapids. Not new, just picking up old habits again. I really think I want to get a membership to Canonsburg.
Oh yeah, nice.
Because for Obi's age group, they
Mhm.
start teaching them how to do all that stuff.
Nice.
So
like the
skiing.
I would say the skiing part.
and
The skiing,
and then
the snowboarding.
eventually snowboarding,
that's
all of that
nice.
stuff. And then they have like the
Nice.
big giant tubes that you can go on and go flying down the hill as well. And then they just have like a nice restaurant and they have a warm lodging area
I wanna go
and
there.
all of that stuff. So
Try
I was
some
like,
new folks.
I really probably should do it because I love to ski. I used to ski all the time. I haven't done it in years. I'm probably going to look like an idiot and have some funny stories about me learning how to ski. I've hit a couple jumps accidentally in my lifetime.
Right.
I did. I look.
Did you black out?
No, I didn't. But one of them, they did make me sit stationary. I hit a pole.
Oh yeah.
It was either that or like this really big jump that was going to send me into the trees.
Don't do the
So
jump.
like I tried to stop. You know how you put like your skis together and you try to stop as you're going down. But it was on such an incline already that I couldn't stop.
Slow down enough.
I couldn't slow down enough, and the only thing that stopped me was this big giant light pole. And then I just sat there forever. I had like this big giant bump that was on my shin forever, like years, you guys.
When back in the day, I never learned how to snowboard, but I learned how to ski, and I loved skiing. And this was out in the Big Mountain Ski Resort, which is in Montana, out north of Whitefish. And it's known for some of like its black diamond runs, which are like Olympic style, like crazy. Novices don't go on the black diamond runs and whatnots. And I loved the bunny hill. I would go on the bunny hill and then the next one up from the bunny hill, which to me was still like, oh my gosh, people are going down this giant mountain. Teenager me. There's no way I was getting on a snowboard. And we did that for years, and I had a great time with it. And I can't believe I didn't knock myself out multiple times. But it was funny because then after I got married and wanted the husband to go with me, he was like, nope, I've been skiing twice in my life and I knocked myself out both times and I haven't tried it since. And I was like, are you serious? He's like, yep.
I can see that for her husband because he is.
I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Especially
amazing
teenage years.
But he's clumsy.
Yep. Especially in the teenage years where he was tripping over his own feet constantly.
Yeah, I could see that.
I was like, both times you tried it and you knocked yourself out. He's like, yeah, like blackout. People had to carry him off the slope. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would be terrified if that happened to me. So he hasn't done it since. And I haven't done it since living up here, since living in Michigan. And I'm like, we're going to try it.
I've whipped out a couple times. I fell off a ski lift one time.
What?
Yeah.
How high was it?
Wasn't high enough to hurt me, but it still scared me.
It was terrifying me.
It was one of my friends' fault. She even just tapped me just a little bit, and I just completely started falling forward instead. And they stopped it, and they were actually able to get me back up. That's how not high it was.
My gosh.
Still, it was embarrassing.
On the bunny hill lift.
And right before that, I wasn't on a bunny hill lift.
No,
jeez.
No. That's
I was a little more daring than you. Like I had to get off on some, and then you had to ski over to another lift and get up on that one.
Oh
and,
yeah. All the pictures.
Man,
the only ski lifts I've been on. Nope.
Yeah, but the jump that I hit.
Mm-hmm.
The first time ever, this was like my third time skiing ever, and I had to make it off of one lift to get to another lift, and it was my first time at the specific place. So they're my friends like, yeah, just follow us this way, and they jumped, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna check this out for a little bit longer, and then I jumped timely after them, so they're already like down there, and I'm coming down, and these snowboarders came at me. And they blocked me off, so I had to divert really quick. And then I was in chunkier snow. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta get out of the chunky snow. So I'm like trying to turn over and looked ahead of me, and there was no escaping it. It was like this long pile of snow and I jumped it. And I literally did one of those Christmas vacation moves where like your skis and everything's out like this, and I'm flying in there and I'm trying to hold it in, and I tumbled and I rolled, and my friends probably are still laughing about that today, thinking about it. Remember that one time we went skiing with Gentry?
So we're gonna have to go make some new ski memories.
I'm ready.
And I can't see Tristan being that daring, because I was thinking of our kids doing jumps. You know, I'm like, Tristan wouldn't be that daring. He would watch for a little while and then try it once, and if it went well the first time, then he would do it again. But if not, I don't know.
Not my child.
Your child will be like, I'm gonna do it.
I'm out of here, Mom. I'm flying.
So stay tuned for that video.
All right, I think we talked enough about skiing.
Hey, I love skiing.
We're supposed to be talking about transformation, even though that's a transformation of my thoughts on winter. And just going out there, it's not quite what we're trying to get at here. So
I still love it. I still love all of it. Oh, I love all the stories, especially fun stories of skiing in wintertime and snow. Because like I never got to do toboggans.
Oh, I did toboggans too.
Yeah, didn't get to do that because I always figured I would probably die on a toboggan.
A couple people break their collarbones.
Nope, that would have been me on a toboggan.
No, they were just really big idiots, and it's really fun to watch people that are trying to toboggan in places that you probably shouldn't toboggan.
Yeah, probably not. Yep. Watch out for that tree.
They would give us big giant sleds, and they would pile like 10 of us on there. And next thing you know, we're flying down the hill all together.
I knew you would have a toboggan story. I'm like, yes, I knew it.
See, I can play in the snow. I can play in the snow.
Especially with the Stay Puft Marshmallow jacket.
Right, as long as I'm puffed up enough, look like I can't move very much. That's probably why I hit that jump. That's probably why I couldn't write.
Hand warmers in your pockets and in your shoes. It's a good time. It's a good time, y'all. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the rest of the full moons for the year bring, closing out 2020. Talking about using the energy of full moons for transformation. Let's talk about some of the things we do in our personal transformation process for full moons. I know.
Man, there's so many different things I've done before.
I know, right? I know one of the things that we did this last time.
Let's just talk about what we did this last time as a good example. Because that was, like I said before, for me, it was a personal transformation that I needed.
If you're looking for personal transformation, here's what we do.
Actually what we did was we pulled some tarot cards. One for what we need to let go and what we need to make room to come in. Okay. And my cards made sense. They didn't at first until I really got into it. And I put myself in the position over the weekend to really look at some cycles and patterns and things. And it was hard. It was hard for me over the weekend. But it gave me the opportunity to really step back and really look at these different things that were going on around me and what I want to be a part of and what I don't want to be a part of. And I think that's what I needed. I needed a different perception, a different way to look at it, a different clarity to help to transform these things that were holding me back, things that I needed to let go.
Yeah. And I loved that part of the process of identifying, and sometimes that's part of the reason that I really liked using the cards this last time is because I felt like they were more challenging to interpret because it was really stuff that we're already struggling with to see and trying to put together like, okay, what is it really that's not serving me, that's tripping me up, that's not being looked at, and draw a card for that, and then draw a card for what is it that I need to be accepting in my life to allow my perception to shift. And then we wrote it out. We wrote it on paper, one piece of paper for each one. And then I'm always a huge promoter of meditation. The type of meditation that you do for the full moon can vary depending on your taste and what works for you. The guidance that came through for this full moon was actually one of embodiment of all of the energies on the planet, opening up our bodies and our energy bodies and our mind to be open and transform and allow and expand, always expanding, Always open the heart when you're doing a meditation, especially if you're doing one to connect with anything you want to connect in the heart space. Opening and activating the heart, opening and activating your mind and your crown, and then doing a simple meditation of, I'm addressing these things and I'm asking them to be taken care of. I'm surrendering what is not serving me to the universe, and I am open and accepting the energies that I need within myself to make these shifts in perception to transform what's not serving me. We did that process, and then at the end, put them together and actually burned the papers. I love burning ceremonies.
I love burning
my favorite
ceremonies
things
too.
Especially being able to perceive energy and the way that you can facilitate the energy that comes out of a fire to have the outcomes or to really transmute the attachments on paper. We burned both. We burned this is what's not serving me, and we burned the one that said this is what I want to bring in. The purpose behind that being not letting our ego mind get caught up on what was on paper to create something else or something different. So it could all be sent out because we were ultimately asking for that energy to be brought in. So the energy's on paper, so you burn it so that it goes to the universe so that it comes back. And it's a beautiful, beautiful process. And I love it. And it helps facilitate transformation in what it is that you're looking to shift or to change. For me personally, I know because we talk about shifting and mindset and perception and all that, when we're talking about personal transformation, I feel like just because of where we are in our journey and where we are in our journey together, we're talking about the personality traits that we have, the emotional mental patterns that we have that are not helping where we want to go in life. I know one of mine, like I deal with anger. That's been a big thing this year. I don't want to be angry. And so a lot of that has been, okay, where is the anger coming from? Where did the pattern start and why is it here? So just to give you an example of, well, I want transformation, but maybe I don't know where I want it. Look to yourself. What is it about yourself that you see? It takes an amount of self-perception and self-awareness to say, oh, okay, this is something that I want to transform about the way I live, the way I embody myself and the energy that I carry. And so that's just an example of one of the things that you can do to help facilitate transformation, and doing it over a full moon is super powerful because the energy that comes together with planetary alignment, which I'm not astrological, I don't do the stars, I don't do the numbers, but the people that I follow that do are phenomenal with it, and it shocks me every time. Every time I see a video on the alignment and the power of the stars and all of the information that comes through with that, it's just like, I love it, and kudos to everybody who went out there and is learning that combination. It's beautiful.
It really is beautiful.
It really is. And the whole thing with the planets going into retrograde.
I always forget that I've done a lot more of that than you have, actually. I'm more into the cosmos, the planetary alignments.
Right.
Because the stars can speak a lot of our chakral, personal journey, woundings that we need to take care of.
Right.
And also I get pretty deep in numerology, actually. Yeah. I just love numbers. The grids that we see are made of a certain frequency of numbers. Yeah. So, and that has a huge placement of helping you discover what your purpose is, where your weaknesses are, and what you need to be working on. Yeah. So I really like it. And then it gets into ancestral, like you can get into some really, really deep stuff just using numbers. And I love it. I love numbers. So
I have in the past, it's a future strength, y'all. I'm working on it. I have never been good at math and equations, which always baffled me because I can see them and I can't put them together and make sense of them, because the whole universe runs on sound, and sound and music is a mathematical equation.
Yep.
And so anytime I look at it, I'm like, and I think that's part of the reason I never got into the educational side of of going to school for and learning the planetary lines and the math behind it, is because I've always been on the visual side of like, I'm looking at this and it looks like this, and then I go do and research it behind what I'm looking at to verify what I'm looking at is documented.
Oh, very cool.
Which is always the way to do it.
they have a certain way in numerology, a certain way of charting, where you start charting different things, and it shows you how to create a pattern. You use like a grid form, and you create a pattern. You can point it up to different areas and like see your own vibrational code.
Yeah.
And it's pretty wild stuff. It takes forever to do that. So if anybody reaches out for me to do that for them intuitively on top of that, just know that it takes me a long time to do that. I've done it free quite a few times for a few people, and then I stopped because literally it would take me a few days of sitting down and graphing out the numbers, graphing out the different things, and pulling personal things, because sometimes when you just start doing numerology or anything like that, you've already accomplished and healed some of that. So you're like, oh, that doesn't apply to me because that was healed, or your ego is trying to tell you that you haven't, that you have healed it, even though you haven't, because it's deep embedded into your subconscious. One of the two. But we, you know, I do believe that when we come here and we start out, it's just some things are easier for us to heal than other things, and that's going to be different than somebody who might have the exact same birthday at the exact same time as you, and that's where the intuitive part comes in, to be like, okay, what have you healed along the way, what have you experienced to be able to get to that point, and what's the main focus now that you need to be focusing on versus other things that are going on with you.
That is a beautiful description, because in my mind I'm like, when you look at how it's laid out and things like this is where you started from, you can heal those. And you can lean on the positive aspects of like, oh yeah, if you heal through the stuff that you've been given, this is what it will look like. Right. And the immediate thing that I think of is, oh, that's where the phrase comes from. You can change your stars.
Yes.
You don't have to live that out.
You can change your stars.
You feel that. I love
your
that.
stars are just basically guides to help you get to those next steps along the way of ascension, which is a whole nother thing. And they give you the tools to show you where you need to work on to invoke transformation into your life.
If you need that, we got a person we can recommend for you too. She's good poison.
Oh my gosh. I think she's talking about me. I'm going to sit over here. Okay.
Nope. So, lovelies, that is our show for today. I hope you have a beautiful day. If you enjoyed this video or any parts about it, please share us with your friends. Tell them we're here, because maybe they'll get something out of it too. Like, comment, subscribe to our channel. We are super excited to be here every Thursday, and I'm super excited going into winter and talking more about the energy of winter and how we can use it to go within, to go in and alter and do all the wonderful things. Oh yeah.
Your own emotional pot to stir up and get rid of a whole bunch of things that aren't going to work for you anymore, and giving you the willpower to get through it all.
Yes. Blast out of this year into a new one.
Yes. So that you can deal with those. No.
Exactly. So we can deal with the new year in a fresh start. Okay.
With a fresh start.
Fresh mindset. And it's really funny because I feel like the month of October and into November is my new year. I feel like that's when my year started over. Every time for like the last 3-4 years now.
Oh, October is the turning point. I do. I feel like that too. And I don't even think it has anything to do with the new year. It's just that we went from such a high energy to all of a sudden everything's calm on the earth.
Right.
So we automatically
start the year in a calm space.
We start the year in a calm space. You start the year going within and searching and looking and feeling and being closer to our emotions. Which is really a great, beautiful place to be. That's where all of your major healing is going to come from. That's where all of your, that's where you're going to feel the most powerful in a way, if you look at it differently. So that when spring comes and that energy hits you're ready to go. Like you dealt with the stuff already. You've dealt with the emotional and inner stuff, and you have like this newfound energy to kick you off in the spring instead of being like, depressed about the winter the whole time. Like utilize that. Utilize what energy that's giving to you. And it's really a gift.
It is. Absolutely. Yeah. Anytime that we have time to do that and go within is a gift to cultivate what you want to see. Cultivate what you want to see for next year and then bring it out to the world in the springtime. Awesome.
All right.
Hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next week. Bye.